Well, if I look back over the last 40 years, I'm well over 40 years doing the work. It's closer to 50 years. The Atkins diet has been around the whole time, pretty much. Maybe 10 years, 5 to 10 years after I began my work, my profession, Atkins came up with the first Atkins diet. Went out of style, popped back again, and is still lingering around. Paleo is sort of a new invention by the meat industry. The meat industry realized that plant-based eating is growing so exponentially, it's amazing. Last year, it went up nearly 1,000% globally. And so they need to, in their perceived minds, slow this process down. So they put new ideologies on the market and make stories up and tell people that we were hunters and really we never ate vegetables and things of this nature. So I can only speak with authority on the low-carb, high-meat diets, and that's pretty much what we're discussing now. Now, the silly part of this story is when people are told eat only meat, there's a short temporary honeymoon with losing weight. And when most people think about diet and food, they don't think about health and longevity, they think about weight, especially in a country like America where now 7 out of 10 of our children are overweight, obese, or morbidly obese. And half the population is in that category. So you do lose weight when you give up breads, you give up pastas, you give up potatoes, and it's a short-term process. But what you do gain is heart disease, which is strokes and heart attacks, cancers, every form of cancer known to man, diabetes, type 2. We do know that because even the Harvard studies that looked at this long-term a decade ago show us that short-term weight loss regained the entire weight within about a year's period, and now they have diseases like cancers, heart disease, and diabetes, and more so. We just won't elaborate on it. The sad part is that there's a lot of people who look healthy, feel they're healthy, because they haven't been diagnosed with a problem. And when you feel healthy and you look healthy and you're thin and you're young, you tend not to go to the doctor. It's sort of like the dentist. None of us like to go to the dentist. We all should go to the dentist and at least be checked once a year. And it's the same about medical checkups. Now, when you are doing the wrong thing, you may not manifest the look of an unhealthy person. You don't know how many people I've worked with stage 4 cancers that looked as healthy as a model or an actor or an actress. You'd just be stunned when you find out what their diagnosis is. Our medical team looks at that, and it's stunning. So I haven't been tricked for many, many years on that one. And this is the most frightening position to be in. So if you're doing everything wrong, or mostly everything wrong, and you're not going to see a physician, and that's where physicians play a wonderful role diagnostically. Maybe they don't really know what to tell you to do after they find out the diagnosis, but at least it gives you a red flag so you can make educated changes in your lifestyle, what caused the problem. And yeah, they have sudden heart attacks and strokes. Yesterday I was speaking about this in my conference here at The Real Truth, that the worst time to have heart attacks is when you're young, because the human body only has certain veins that's throughout the system. And when that vein, the blood stops going through it, and no blood gets into the heart, that's what the heart attack is. And when the oxygen doesn't get to the brain, that's what the stroke is. When you get older, interesting enough, the body's much smarter than your brain. Your brain thinks it's smart, but the body says, this guy's a dummy. He keeps filling up my veins with, cheese, he fills up my veins with fish, he fills up my veins with chicken and steak and whipped cream and ice cream, and that was me. Everything I'm telling you is all I ever ate, and my veins were filled. And as you get older, it starts to create alternative veins, alternative capillaries. Isn't that interesting? So you're far less likely as you get older. The only disease I know, if you get older, it's less likely you die from a heart attack and stroke because the body's smarter than you and created veins, so there's a gas out with that one. So it doesn't back up and all at once the brain stops or the heart stops. Yeah, let me tell you that we often focus, especially with me being a nutritionist, on diet. But when I became director in 1980 of Hippocrates, against my own negative mindset about psychology, I realized that psychology plays a fascinating and large role in people's health. So people can eat impeccably well. People can exercise. People can be healthy. And if you have emotional trauma, that I see people get sick from that. Just like if you don't sleep, you may get more common colds and flus. It's no different. You may get more cancer if you're stressed. If you work in a job you don't like, and the latest data shows us that 80% of people term what they do, they hate their job. 8 out of 10 people hate their job. Only 10% of marriages seem to be authentically good marriages. So that means you go to work during the day, 8 out of 10 of you don't like that. You come home, 9 out of 10 of you don't like that situation you find yourself in. So we find outlets, and some of the outlets are overeating, eating the wrong thing, eating sugar, all the things that most of us have done. Certainly I did in the past. And you can get sick that way. And even on a healthy diet, if you're traumatized. I've seen cases where people were spectacularly well. Our medical team has done studies on them, and blood is perfect, and this is perfect, and the scans are perfect. And their husband walks out 5 weeks later, and they end up sick. Or their child comes home, and he's on drugs, and the father gets sick. So sure, there's the emotional component. So that's why everyone that comes to Hippocrates gets psychotherapy. It's as important as eating a healthy food or doing, consistent exercise.